Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be beginning in the next 3 minutes or so. To that time, do have a
Детский теннисенький. Теннисенький, особо сладкий. Да?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all out here. Another couple more minutes, and then we'll begin. Just a minute or two more. Have a good day. Hello.
Алло, хотіла розказати і забула. Моя покраска отримала море компліментів. Мені сказали, що мій темний...
Good morning, Mr. Sharma. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Sharma.
Я що нею цілувалася, вона до мене більше, що на 10 метрів не підходила. Вона в другому кінці. Нормально, це ж теж. А ти звідки знаєш, що ми вже всі не перехворіли? Звідки ти знаєш, що...
May we request the participants if they could turn off the mics so we could get ready to start?
Clear and
If
audible.
anyone would like to share the views, you're welcome. You could start with that. Hello, Benjamin, sir. Nice to see you again. क्या तभी 5 मतलब कर उसके
Алло, Тали, сколько романов? Ага, добре. Щось не хочу печінку. Мама така була довольна. А що вона так їсть? Ну, може, не голодна, да, ревіла, і там було пару порізок. Їй мало на мені стільки. Добре, давай.
Dr. Khan, if you'd like to share your views, or we'll begin with the PowerPoint. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to yet another session of Effective Teaching 101 by Encouragement Reserve. Today's topic is such which we wish we could have started earlier because this has been the need of the hour since April itself. Yet, as they say, better late than never. Let us now today discuss about the topic blended learning. We would be sharing a lot of information which we would be knowing already on our own by now. And we would have got it either through trial and error or by some other method. Yet, and we would also the ways by which you yourself are using blended learning in your school, in your organization. So without much ado, I would request Dr. Khan, if he's here, he could start or we will continue. What actually is blended learning? Before we do that, let us discuss about what learning is. Learning consists of classroom learning, of course, e-learning, learning on the go or mobile learning, which together, when these are blended together, when they are brought out together, they create something which is called blended learning. Now, let us look at the different type of learnings and what they are. If we look at classroom learning, it is the traditional chalk and talk method which we are used to and which we all know about and which we've been missing for some time. We also have, it is a traditional teaching which is face-to-face teaching. The teachers and students are in contact, touch with each other. They are together in the same physical surrounding. And it is possible both for large groups and small groups. I hope I'm audible. If somebody could mention in the chat box. Yeah. I hope I'm audible, people, right? What about the... Now, thank you. Thank you, Vivoma. Now, let's move ahead. Now, classroom learning is something which we all have been doing since time immemorial. Now, this is something which many of us were doing earlier. I personally have been using e-learning as my from way back from 2002 onward. But today I can say that we may have been e-learning earlier or we may be doing it now. Yet this year, most of us, all teachers are participating or they are using e-learning. What is e-learning? It consists of having the teaching learning process using computers. It has online tutorials, simulation and games are there, part of it. Then we also have online testing, audience response systems, digital learning environment. Now the presence here, what is required is online. The child may be present anywhere, but the online presence is required for online learning. So how many of us, we could request you if you could mention in the chat box, if you have started using online learning from this year itself, e-learning from this year itself, just mention 2020. Or if you're using online learning from earlier, mention the year from which you are using e-learning as a part of your teaching learning process. Let us have that. Moving ahead from e-learning, let us now talk something about mobile learning. Mobile learning is using a laptop or a smartphone or another device like an iPad for participating in for, uh, for the pedagogical process. Something which we have started using now a lot. This year, practically everybody is using it. I mean, going through the responses in the chat, most of us, as we were mentioning, have started using e-learning or mobile learning now from this year itself. But many of us were using it earlier too. So let us stay during the course of this webinar. If people could share their experiences, what they have gained using blended learning and e-learning now or from earlier. We'll discuss it at a later date. So moving ahead. So we've discussed three things which are recapitulate, traditional classroom learning, e-learning using computers, or mobile learning. Moving ahead, let's. What is blended learning? Something which we've been using, we've been talking, we've been discussing. It is basically combining multiple learning components in a learning and creating learning, meaningful learning using these multiple learning components. So blended learning is a blend or a mix of traditional teaching methodologies. It is the blend of e-learning and it is also a blend of mobile learning. If you look at our examples, we have been using blended learning very meaningfully now in the way that we are now even assessing using on an online platform. So teachers, educators, if you're using online form of assessment, just write yes or why in the chat box. How many of us, let us see, how many of us are using online medium for assessment from this year onwards alone? Let us work. Let us have some idea. People have been using online assessment earlier, but let us see the ones who are using now. Right, so as you mentioned, this is the right time of using blended learning. As we said, it's a combination of all the format. It consists of not only the component but the delivery formats. It uses different form of communications, different models to provide the best learning experiences which are possible as per the need of the learners and educators. This is what blended learning is all about. Now, if we look at it, look at the diagram, to explain blended learning in a nutshell, we could say it has two components. One is, I hope I'm audible, there was some technical disturbance. The other is the online or the technological element. The human element provides motivation, it provides personalization, feedback is provided by the human element, fluency and listening relevance, they are provided by the human element. Discipline, of course, is provided by the human element. If you look at what technology brings to the table, it is mobility, structure, tracking and control. It provides opportunity for self-study, the cost, of course, and it provides global reach. We are here sitting in our own respective homes and offices, and we are coming together for this this webinar, only because of the help of the technological marvels which have taken place. I mean, think about it. Would we have been able to conduct sessions such as these even 5 years ago? Forget 15 or 20 years. This technological advancement is what has made this blended learning possible. And believe me, we all are thankful to it. that we have access to it. So the human component and technological components, when they come together in the best form possible, they provide good and excellent blended learning. Now, we have different ways blended learning takes place. We have the face-to-face driver, where the teacher delivers most of the curriculum. A physical teacher employs the curriculum, and online learning and technology is used in such a way that it could be used, but the driver as such is face-to-face. Then we've got something called rotation basis, something which we are using a lot in India at present. In the manner we are calling some classes to the school, and then alternatively we are calling the other classes to school. So let us say if there's a group of 30 children, 15 are requested, they are asked to be present online, and 15 are supposed to be present in the physical classroom. So this is where the rotation method is used for flexible program which is used for blended learning. The other model is using online labs where stimulations are used, where software are used to conduct practicals or provide practical knowledge. Then we've got something called self-blend. In this, the students choose to take remote online courses to supplement the school traditional curriculum. I mean, Vikrant Ramesh Chand Sharma, who is helping us a lot with all our technological things, he is using the self-blend method in the manner. He is attending the online classes which are being conducted in a school. He's also using programs like Byju's. He's also collecting or collating material with the help of his friends to ensure that he is able to get the best possible blend which meets his requirement at as a learner. And believe me, as a parent of Vikrant, I do at times find it scary that I have no idea what my child is doing. But then, as the name suggests, it is a self-blend. The child is, or the learner is creating a blend which helps to supplement the learning which is being taken part as a teacher deliver the curriculum. Students work remotely and face to face. Check in either and see, this check in of the student could be either mandatory or it could be optional. So these are the different forms, the different models of blended learning. The face to face, then we have the rotation, then we have the flexibility is given, online lab is there, self blend method is there, and then of course there is the online driver. We have been using these on and off, and we have been discovering for ourselves, reinventing the zero or reinventing the wheel at our level throughout the course of this year. And believe me, it feels like a pat on the back when we recognize, oh, we've been doing this or we've been participating in that. So kudos to all the educators who have been using these or different methods to incorporate blended learning in the classrooms. As we mentioned, blended learning, it brings increased flexibility in learning. With the use of variety of approaches to learning, the child, the learner has the option to learn at his or her or its pace and by using whatever sources, whatever ways are available to that person. This flexibility is which makes it possible for people to appreciate and indulge in blended learning. Next. Now, this, yeah. See, new developments in learning science and technology, they are providing opportunities to develop learning environments that suit the student needs. Approaches to make a teaching learning blend better to suit our particular needs. And we are individual teachers and educators. Even the organizations who are providing these platforms, could it be Google Meet or Zoom, they are, or of course Microsoft Teams, they are coming up with different inputs, they are coming up with different additions to their platform, to the need, and they are using, they are just to facilitate the blended learning approaches as per the suggestions made by educators and learners. Wakelet has been amazing in helping people incorporate blended learning in the classroom. If we take a survey at our level, which platform do you prefer? I mean, which you use the most? Is it WebEx? Is it Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, or Zoom? So what we could do is we could just write the initial uh, ourselves, and it could depend from need and from learning environment to learning environment. Many of us are using Zoom. Many of us are into Google Meet. Some of us are using WebEx. Let us see which one, which we. Is it somebody? Yeah, somebody would wish to share the views. You're welcome to it. Or and would you like to share your views? Your mic is on, or we could move ahead. And yeah. So if you wish to share your views, please keep your mic mute so there's less of disturbances. Let's moving ahead. We of course right now are using the Google Meet platform, and yeah, we will be sharing the link once this is over. Now let us discuss the components for blended learning. What are they? Let's talk about them. Now, we've got synchronous physical face-to-face components, which are followed with the following are the synchronous physical face-to-face method, and they could be more than this. They are face-to-face tutoring, coaching or mentoring sessions, classrooms, workshops, conferences, and other sessions. And then, so synchronous methods or physical methods are those where the learner and the educators are meeting face to face and they are in the same physical space. We have been using these throughout the stages, be it the lab or the seminars. Let us talk about the different components. Yeah. Okay. Now there's some synchronous electronic components. They are called internet connecting, where we are sending links, where we are sharing links to the either the Google Meet or the WebEx Meet or the Zoom meeting, where everybody has to be present together. It could also be audio conferencing, where let us say a teacher is connecting 4 or 5 people on a conference call to clear the doubts of the children. It could be live video via satellite or video conferencing. Imagine the earlier we only knew the name Skype, and now we know a lot. We also have virtual online classes, which are electronic component of synchronous and electric component of blended learning. And then we have the usage of instant messaging for blended learning. Let us now discuss some other component. So synchronous we have done. Now let us talk about asynchronous components, which are online self-paced learning content. It could be the web page, email discussion forums, electric support systems and job aids, web computer-based instructions. Books could be a part of self-paced learning. Look at it, or more distant courses which we are running, they were self-paced, they were synchronous. People could learn at their time and need, as per the time and need and requirement. Could be reading articles, using CD-ROMs, using audio video disc or tape, using white papers, or videos of past events can also be used for asynchronous components of blended learning. We have shared our previous webinars on a YouTube channel. If needed, we'll share the link with everyone in the WhatsApp group. You could use those to attend the sessions which we have conducted earlier, so you can have an idea about what has happened. Now, we have talked about these three types of components of blended learning. Let us discuss the advantages, and if whatever disadvantages they are, we'll discuss those. The meeting soon. Till that time, I'll continue. We just have to. Could be the advantage of the face-to-face learning method. Okay, just now. Advantage of classrooms are the motivation level is really high in a classroom. The responsiveness of the students is through the roof. The experiences which have taken place in the past or which are being built at the present, they help making classroom teaching effective, and then a lot of team building takes place. Disadvantage of classrooms, let us say we do require an instructor for it. The scheduling as an audience, they have to travel to the venue and be physically present. Look at it this way. If principals of 15 schools are present in this session, could we not go in such a way that for our classes we have one teacher teaching online to all our classes? But it's not possible because we are used to the physical classes. So the instructor, be the cost of the resource cost is high in classroom, be it the physical, the instructor, or the scheduling. Let us look at the different thing. Yeah. Now, if we look at self-paced learning, it takes place anytime, anywhere. It saves time and is cost effective. The learner is in control of what he or she or it is learning, how and why, and the manner in which the learner is learning. Disadvantages, of course, are something which we are facing right now. Bandwidth. There is some issue with the connectivity, so Dr. Khan is not able to join us now. Interaction is not possible in self-paced learning. Development of resources is required. The person needs to have the devices to access The cost is there, and the development of resource has to be done. The material which is being taught, that also has to be developed beforehand to and for somebody to use the self-paced learning. The dropout ratio is something which hurts the most in self-paced learning because of whatever reasons. It could be lack of time or resources. They drop out, or lack of motivation. They drop out and they leave the self-paced learning courses midway. I feel at my level, personal level, it's the biggest drawback of the self-paced learning scenario. Now, let us talk about advantages of CD-ROM. They are more engaging. Every concept of encouragement which is built in, and they require no internet connection. Be it the DK multimedia learning ladder or any other program which is based on CD-ROM is engaging and does provide a manner by which people can be encouraged to participate in it. Disadvantage is, of course, the content once uploaded on the CD-ROM cannot be updated. The peer-to-peer learning is not possible. And then, of course, the development cost is high. If you got a class of 30 children and you require 30 copies of Learning Ladder for grade 6 from DK Multimedia, they are going to cost something. And this is what at times keeps people back when it comes to using the CD-ROMs and teaching learning process. Dr. Khan, are you here? Okay, moving ahead. Okay. Now, let's talk about video conferencing. There is a lot of savings which occur both in the same of time and resources. Participation is something which happens. We right now are using a form of video conferencing to be together with each other and participating in the session. Imagine we had to go for a webinar, physically meet for a webinar. This global audience would not have been possible. And of course, video, this is something which has only been possible by the miracle of technology, by the usage of video conferencing. It is a visual platform by which the people can see and they can participate in whatever is happening. And disadvantage, of course, the quality of video conferencing uh, services, or it could be the technological support. Let's talk about quality and technological support. If you look at it, and every time the slides are changing, you would be noticing a certain lag, which is only happening because the speed, the technological support is not that quick. It's not that's there. Yet we are thankful that we are able to use all these methods to find a blend which can make it possible for us to provide the best possible education to the children who are interested in our care. Let us now discuss the blended learning options for the different teaching philosophies. Now let us talk about behavioralism. And what happens in behavioralism? The behavior learning or the outcome of learning is that the behavior of the learner is changed, right? What happens in this? The content is presented, the learner exercises the content, a test is given. This is the process which goes on. There's a lot of drill and practice which is involved in the behavioralism style of learning. The blended learning option available are online training and testing, followed by skill labs, something which we are using a lot nowadays. Yeah, this. So yeah, we'll move to the next one. Cognitism is saying that the outcome of learning is the student obtain knowledge. The blended learning option for students to obtain knowledge are multimedia presentation of content, concept maps, hyperlinks, and simulations. So this is how cognitism, where the child obtains knowledge, is taken care by simulations. The next one is loading. Give me a moment. Yeah, constructivism says that the outcome of teaching learning process is the student constructs knowledge. This can be done through communication, weblogs, wiki online videos, or participation in online events. At Encouragement EduServe, we are learning a lot of events for the children where they are coming up, where they are showcasing their skills and developing their talents. It could be the online elocution we are conducting, or the plant of sapling day campaign we have conducted, or it could be the ongoing non-thermal cooking event. All these are there to provide children a chance to come up with ways by which they can construct or they can express themselves, they can develop their talents, and they can present and showcase their skill set. Now, let us talk about blended learning in a nutshell. Now, if you look at about the blended learning in the form of communication, for the need and time. Let's talk about space. Blended learning in the form of space is, it could be live, like we are doing it right now, or it could be virtual. The philosophies taking care of we've discussed are behaviorism, cognitism, and constructivism. And of course, the delivery could be online or offline. We've discussed blended learning, and I'm thankful we would like Version, who has come up with this model in 2010. So, blended learning to provide the best teaching learning